Great. Hello, everybody, to session 9, Bars Around the World.
Our today's special guest is the wonderful Sylvia. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Great that you joined. And before we start with our questions, I want to ask you if you can give a short introduction of yourself, please.
Yeah, that's always fun, right? How do you introduce yourself? Well, first of all, I want to thank you for this beautiful, beautiful creation. I said it before we hit record, but it's so wonderful for you to bring out these stories of everybody's experience with the bars. Everyone is so different, so it's so great to hear them. So, if you ask me, as most people do, what I do, I facilitate these incredible classes of access consciousness. I've been a certified facilitator for over 10 years and have been playing with the tools of access consciousness for about 12. Wow. And I never, ever imagined I could even ask for what my life looks like now. And this is the part where I'm always amazed at the courageous people that begin to use these tools, because your life will change. And we hold on to what we think is so great. And yet I did not know it could get better. So the basic tools of questions of how does it get any better than this really work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I also coordinate, events with Access Consciousness. About, maybe 5-6 years ago, I was invited to become the regional event coordinator for the Americas. So now Gary has named 3 of us, the flurry of possibilities as we create events around the world. So I'm honored. And with that, I hop around the globe a lot. And it's super fun to engage with people around the world. So
wow, awesome.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Oh, give me please 2 seconds to switch our internet. Okay. And
in 3, 2, 1.
Are you here?
Not yet. What was... Now you are. Yeah, okay.
So every time, every day. Okay.
You're so potent, you're blowing the system, so.
Yeah. The entities in our wireless LAN. Wi-Fi, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can I start with the first question? Are you ready? Okay. What was the reason for you to choose consciousness or the access bars?
It's so funny because coming to Access and years into, I never got that I chose consciousness. Yeah. I the word I had never really heard, or I never considered myself a seeker. And yet, Gary has named me this funny name of a gypsy of consciousness. And about a year or 2 ago, I was like, I was like, oh, I am a gypsy. Like my reality of, hopping around the globe. Well, yeah, I get gypsy. And then I thought, oh, but I haven't acknowledged the consciousness part.
Yeah.
And I remember I asked him about that because I didn't even want to say the word. Like there was just something that, everything that you hear and read, I thought, well, it's not that. And when I asked Gary about that, he said, well, have you actually chosen consciousness since the day you were born?
Yeah.
And I thought, and then those tears of when you acknowledge what's true. So when I now look at, when did I start? I mean, it was the moment I realized that joy was available at a really young age. And I looked around and nobody was choosing it. Yeah. And so to acknowledge that when you're choosing joy, that's consciousness. There's an ease and a lightness to that. Yeah. So, since I was born and probably acknowledged it about maybe 2 years ago. And what was the second part? What had me choose the bars or?
Yes.
So it was interesting because I was an elementary school teacher, before I discovered the access consciousness tools. And I was desiring for more. I was desiring more for the school system, the kids. I knew there was something else possible, like that eagerness, right?
Yeah.
And I remember walking into the teacher break room, and there was this teacher that a lot of kids did not like. And I heard her talk about retirement. And I thought, is that what you're waiting for? Like, there's no joy in what she's doing. I thought, that's it. Like, I was so you know, just ready for something else. So I had the ease to transition and take some time off. So I took 1 year, then I took a second year, and then the school district's all, are you coming back? If not, you need to like you're going to lose your license. And in that space, you know, with a life coach and all these things, I was part of a women's circle, and one of the ladies brought in the embodiment book and the CD to the bars.
Wow.
So we played. So someone touched my head, I touched their head, I didn't feel a thing, and I left that.
That's great.
That was weird. Like, okay, whatever. But I went to volunteer at my son's school, and when I got to the school, you know, I saw the kids, the teacher, and we were doing this, preparing for this event outdoors. And then all of a sudden I realized, I was like, I sat down, I'm all, whoa, something's different.
Yeah.
And the best way I can describe
That's it.
yes. And the best way I can describe it is like someone had turned off the wind. There was
Yeah.
a level of peace. And
Yeah.
that was the moment I realized I had a monkey mind that I didn't know I had that was gone. I was like, the only weird thing I did today different was that thing on the head.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of exploring the possibility of peace, relaxation that I didn't know was even possible.
Wow. Oh my God,
Beautiful.
that energy. Thank you so much to share this with us. Thank you so much. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
When you think back in the past, what was your most experienced session with bars?
Oh, there's several, but the one that pops out or that stands out the most was one that someone had booked a private session on the website, and the energy that I was like, the energy in that email was really strange. It was like psycho, like that energy of like, maybe I don't want to have this session. And I messaged my son, are you going to be here this day? Could you be here? Could you be upstairs? So there was this strange energy.
Yeah.
And then those next couple hours or days, because at first, yes, how much I charge, and there was an energy about that. I'm like, hey, there's a lot of other facilitators. I can let you know who else is around. He's all, no. He's all, what's your address? And I'm all, now he has my address. But you know, I'm sharing this because one, we got to acknowledge how aware we are, right? So next thing you know, I had this energy of like, are my windows closed? Are my door locked? And I never had that before. And I was, you know, and I talked to a friend, I'm like, what is that? So then he comes for the session because it was still light to have it. So he comes for the session, hand is bound, you know, up, and he comes in. I'm all, okay, if you can get anything out of the session, what would you be? And he said something about all these energies he's aware of. And then I thought, oh, entities.
Wow.
I was aware of all the entities that were looking through my window going, who is this? What's going on? Where's he coming? So I was relieved. And I remember at that moment, I said, well, you know, are you willing to let them go? Everything he was mentioning. And he's like, why does everybody say that? And I thought, all right, here's someone that might not choose the change. So I remember he got on the table and I just demanded to have all the awareness that I could have, whatever space I could be, because it was intense. And I'm willing to refund his money, because he goes, can you just move to the next point? You know, it was this energy, just like, I was like, all right, space, and allowance. The man got up from that session and he was different. It was a different person. And I was just like, wow. And when he stood up, you know, we conversed a little as he was waiting for his ride. And he's all, why, you're different. Like, why are you talking to me? Like, I'm all, you're waiting for your car. But there was something in the space that I was being with him that he found so strange. Like, how many people have all this judgment, all these things they carry. And when you don't have someone who's present, I mean, you know, it's strange to have someone with no judgment in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, never saw him again. So I don't even know what changed for him. But for me, that was one where it's like, there is question. We do have awareness. And what if we could be greater and ask for more ease with all of that? Like, if it would have been heavy, I would have canceled. But for me, it's like that one session that changed me and what I acknowledged about what I was aware of. And to me, the transformation was huge.
Wow.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Thanks so much. Wow. I was aware of the switch in the energy, you know? There was
Yeah.
this heavy energy, and while you are talking, there was
Yeah.
this switch, and there was this lightning
Yeah.
being, you know, this
And we know, right? That's the
That's-
gift of the bars, that you don't have to be cognitive, you don't have to figure it out or resolve it in your head. It really is that creates a release and a change that's beyond what we can conceptualize. And it's, you see it, you feel it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
oh my God,
Oh,
thank
thank
you.
you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh my God, what's possible
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Not that you need to have every client come in, with entities or bring that up or, none of that. I mean, we are aware of so much. And even in the session, as I was aware of it, I didn't say anything. It was just, I was making demand within myself going, all right, whatever's required, what can you receive? I'm willing to refund. Like all of that willingness and space can create a lot of change. Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Can I
Oh,
quickly share just one other short one?
Yeah, for
There.
sure. Feel free.
One of the things that I got to when I first discovered the bars, I wanted everybody to have it, including all my sisters, all my family, and my younger sister. I remember, oh, come here, this will fix you. And I remember running her bars from that space, like this will fix you because you got a lot of shit going on, right? So running her bars, it was the worst session.
Yeah.
She woke up angry and upset. And what I didn't know at the beginning is that the greatest gift you can give anyone you're running the bars is that space of allowance.
Yeah.
No point of what they'll
Yeah.
receive change. And, I never realized, and that's the great example. And I recall that frequently because when you have that need to change someone, they sense it, their body does, and that limits what they can receive. So
Yeah.
that's on the other side. Yeah.
Ah,
We figured out the same in the second, third bar session, what I gave you, Nicoletta. I was in my head, it was why she isn't feeling anything, why she isn't talking, and what I'm doing wrong, and so on. And the next day you had a back pain, your feet were hurting, and so on. And then I figured out, okay, I had expectations of what I want to have her to feel and what I need to feel. And yeah. And I think the fourth, fifth, sixth session, it was totally different. Because for me, it was just, I touch your head, run your bars, just receive it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
it's so great you didn't give up either, right? That moment, I mean, every session can be different in the gift of receiving from different people, but what a gift that you didn't give up, that you knew, change isn't comfortable either. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there's that sense of peace and ease, but if we're holding on to what it feels like to live in our lives, it's like you might feel really strange when there's space and peace.
Yeah.
So,
So I love to receive the bars from kids. I love when our daughter gives me or holds me the bars. This is for me. For me, this is freedom. This is the point where, oh my God, this is so beyond everything when a kid or a child holds the bars. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I had that was my early experience with my son. He's now 24. So, he was quite young and we would exchange bars, but it was the first time that I truly felt this gifting and receiving.
Yeah.
And he would run my bars and then kiss me on my forehead. It was the sweetest thing. I was like, oh, and even to this day, when I gift him the bars, I mean, how often do we touch our kids? I mean, maybe some people do, but not many, with this kindness. And then you receive from them.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Sylvia, talking about change, when you go back in time to your access consciousness starting point, what changed from then to now? What changed in your life?
Oh my gosh, so much. I would say, I mean, I can talk about, I have resigned from 2 really great jobs, a secure job during the economic downturn. as an elementary school teacher, and I resigned that. And I didn't, people were like, what are you doing? Like, people are losing their houses and their homes and you're resigning? Like, doesn't make sense. But all I knew is that this choice had this like space.
Yeah.
I didn't have a plan, but all I knew was that, and going back was like, I was like, I had to start trusting that, right?
Yeah.
Second job, I resigned. I was making over 100,000 and they paid for my car. Like, it was everything people thought, hey, that you're doing well. And yet I knew there was more. I was starting to be invited to facilitate around the world, and I resigned that. And that was probably a little more tough, just because there's so many people that projected like, you've already made it. What are you doing? And I haven't looked back and I don't regret it. Someone in the office was like, you got some balls. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you know how many people want to leave? And I'm like, why don't they? So I started to really see like many of my choices have been this courageous leap into trusting me. And I didn't have that before Access. I doubted me. I would say I had gaslighting in my life. I had regrets. Like, everything was, in my head. What do I need to do? I didn't do that right. It was all this judgment. And to have the lightness of trusting, okay, maybe there is something I know, like beginning to trust that knowing. I would say that that's been the greatest gift, and letting go of some of the control of controlling my sisters. I have 4 younger sisters, and I used to boss them around like I was the queen of, I don't know. And to let that go and free them up and have that space of allowance, it's kind to see them now, and not, it's like everybody's going to choose what's going to work for them. And my life isn't made for everyone. So, a lot more kindness and allowance for me.
Wow.
And I can put that for more people.
Yeah, that's the power of our being.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And it's amazing to see when people makes also the foundation, how big their potency begins to grow, and they begin to be bigger and bigger. And there's this, okay, that's the space I'm trusting.
They start trusting in themselves.
And that's the point. Thanks to share that with us. Thank you so much.
It is, there's so much possible. And it's like everything we've made difficult in our life doesn't necessarily have to be that. And the bars allows that for the space for you to choose something different. If you don't have that tug, I mean, with travels, I had never traveled to any other country besides from the United States to Mexico. That was it. I didn't even desire it. Now to stay in one place over 1 week, I'm like, all right, I gotta go. So that's a whole conversation. But yes, so I've gotten to enjoy the planet in a whole different way.
Wow.
Wow. Oh my God. Thank you so much.
So the next one major reason for this project is also to give some support and information to, let's say, beginners for Access. So they're looking for some further information, or they're a BAS practitioner or facilitator. So they're at the beginning stage. Let's say it in that way.
There are times that comes old shit up, and maybe you have there something you want to say.
Yes, I'd say I still have shit come up. I mean, right now there is so much change, and this is the part with Access. I would invite people. I mean, when I started, there was not even a 1/10 of what's being created in Access right now, way less, right? I remember Gary used to give his number out in class, like, call me. And it's like, I mean, I don't think he'd do that now. Maybe he would, but there's so much less going on. So I would invite people to play with the tools, play, don't make them significant. And, if you're new to Access, new to the bars as a practitioner, apply them to your life. How does it get any better? I was stranded out with a flat tire, and, okay, how does it get any better than this? It's like, and then seeing what shows up, it's like apply them. Notice also, like you said, when you go into judgment, or when you, get into frustration, and don't make yourself wrong for that.
Wow.
I would say that's the biggest sticker. And knowing that you have another choice, and you have another choice. Like, it's not perfection. And I'd say that, you know, with access and as it grows and changes, you know, right now we have a whole new opening and discovering how much we've been living from saving people, right? It's a big conversation right now. So I'm really looking at in my own life, and I'm really uncomfortable because I've started to notice where a lot of my choices that I thought were choices were really a reaction to how can I help?
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I, you know, in my culture as a, you know, both my parents are from Mexico. So there's Latin culture of helping others and forget about you. But it's this, wow, if I wasn't out saving people, what else would I choose? And that's such an uncomfortable way, because there's moments I'm sitting going, okay, now what, you know, now what do you do then? You know, when you find yourself what you've used to function and live. So I would say in those moments, don't give up. You know, just like you said, George, just don't give up. You know, keep going. Whether it's getting your bars running other people's bars, be kind with you. And if something's not changing, please ask, truth, does it belong to me?
Yeah.
Sometimes in our interviews, we hear
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if you're looking at something in your life and it's not changing, start to maybe begin to ask, does this belong to me? And if part of it is yes and no, ask for clarity. That's the part I think I'm still exploring even more. It's like, oh, I get to ask. And that'll give me awareness. I think I'm finally getting it 12 years later, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can I ask you a last question?
No, I have a last one.
Okay.
But first it's yours.
Okay. There are a lot of new people at Access Consciousness. Yeah. And is there, or have you any classes to book with you without a foundation or something?
Yeah. And it's interesting, you know, I travel a lot. So a lot of the classes I do, many of them are the big core classes are live, like Right Voice for You has to be live, 3-day body class has to be live. Many of the other ones are also online. But one of the things that I'm choosing to do as I travel is that I may have a 3-day class that has other prereqs, but I always schedule other classes that don't. I love to do meet and greets or trades or little mini introductions, because I would love new people to come and discover the tools. You know, we're blessed to have facilitators all around the world. And yet, if each of us acknowledge that we're each a different, unique invitation. So if more of us would begin to have that around the world, people can then tap into these different energies. So I have many online, and yes, live as well. So
Cool. I put your homepage link, if it's okay, under this video, so people can find you.
Yeah.
If I would say one of the platforms I probably play the most on is Instagram. So the link tree is updated pretty regularly as well. I do have a website that we're still like developing and engaging with, but that's sylviawiththepuentes.com. So that's another fun place to go. Private sessions. We're working on building our blog as well to give people tools and questions.
Wow. Okay, I put all links that I can find about you and your project under this video.
You know what I have that it's related to bars. If you go to Spotify, there is a short, what's it called? It's like, it's Access Bars. Oh, Peaceful Living Access Bars. But I did like 5-6 short little clips of my story with bars and what I discovered, but it's all about bars. So that might be another fun, you know, for people to share if they like it, if it contributes to them.
Thanks for this information. Thank you.
And now the last one. There is another wonderful project beside ours. It's called LUGAR. I think you are very familiar with it. And what we want to do also with this project is we want to provide the opportunity that people or viewers can donate to LUGAR. So we will share all the information, the homepage and so on. But can you talk a few minutes about this wonderful place called LUGAR?
So I was in Costa Rica many years ago when I heard this possibility show up, and my whole being said, yes, like I want to be a part of that. And then my head started getting,
Yeah.
no, maybe it's not going to happen, because they were starting to look at who would like to invest in these casitas, these houses that were being built on the property. And so it took me over a year until I finally got out of my head and go, wait, this is still light expansive. So I invested probably the second or third year, which by then the great deal of that beginning had changed, you know, so I didn't get in that early. And yet I've always known that this project was greater than I could imagine. And through all these years, I'm so fortunate. I've been on the land before any construction was, you know, built. I was there as the casitas was going on. I've been there now that casitas were up. So as the buildings were starting to show up, and it's so incredible to see land that gets even more beautiful when things are added. I actually have a horse out there in Costa Rica now too. And so it's a beautiful land. And when I go horse riding out there, you know, the gift of the horse, me, the land, there's like I feel held, like taken care of.
Yeah.
And this last trip I had, I was at the pool and I'm like, what is that? Like, I'm just aware of a change. And I was like, oh, there's no need.
Oh, wow. Oh,
This
my.
is space of no need of me, no need of anything. And, you know, as I left, that space and that energy stayed with me. So I would invite everyone, you know, to either visit the website. There's also, you know, a Telegram group. There's different ways that you can engage with El Lugar, and you just ask yourself, what are you aware of as you see the pictures, the videos? I think on YouTube, there's some sound videos as well. So there's been this beautiful creation of different people contributing in different ways. There's, you know, you could donate, you can invest. But I'd say the greatest thing, if you're inspired by this possibility of creating with the land in such a different way, share it.
Yeah.
Share it on your
Yes.
socials with your family. Even if you can't invest or donate right now, it's like, what if you could share it just from that joy of knowing that we can be and create something totally different on this planet? You know, it's so funny. I was driving here in California through some of the valley, headed out to Sacramento and looking at the land. And I was aware of, it's like, wow, like, you know, you have all these people and, you know, exploring space and about other planets. And I'm like, what are we choosing with our planet?
Yeah.
We have a beautiful planet. And it's like, if we don't change something, you're right, it's not going to be here the way it is now. So it's like, for me, the access consciousness tools of, for me to have more joy, more ease in my life, I know that contributes to the planet. Projects like El Lugar, you know, creating just a different possibility on the planet. So I'm like, so all of it really is about the planet. Like,
Yes.
there's a thriving and a pulse and a joy when we create more from that lightness and possibility rather than the problem and everything else. So that's in short my little piece on El Lugar. Check it out.
We share that link. We will share that link also too under this video and in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, for your time.
For your contribution.
And for your being.
Yeah.
Really. Thank you so much.
Thank you both. And may this project reach beyond what you can imagine, and people that have never heard of access, and may it just give a little bit more hope than they've had so far with life and living. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you
so much. I look forward to seeing you guys in person someday.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.